the light changed, took off, the car takes off, he takes off, well then that car stopped or something like that.
Oh, jeez.
He didn't realize it and rear-ended him, so he was waiting on the police to show up, and he tried to exchange information with the lady, but she was on the phone with someone. I thought it was said it was Hopewell in 79. I think
Well, I didn't go all the way to 79. I cut back to by the high school building.
Oh, it was right there is where he said no one was hurt or nothing like that. It was just one of them deals where just, you know, he just took off and they took off and then he'd probably do it, I don't know, 10 miles an hour or something, you know, I mean, just get started and somebody stops him. Usually it's like, this guy's like, go, get through the intersection, you know.
People try to get straight when the turn lane goes.
Yeah.
She didn't even slow down for that.
Yeah, if you'd sit there and watch that all day long, a number of people would do illegal stuff, wrong
There's
stuff.
the next one right here.
Drives you crazy. There's so many intersections that way though around town. I mean, I sit at them all day long. Sometimes you shake your head. Like I said, Heffley may not make it, and Brian never called me or that. He never called me. Brian 5:30 should try to be here. About a minute.
That's like.
Flag book of mine. I was checking it at the church and
I'll bring it in next week.
okay. But I think I have one that I needed to know. I think it was all right. But okay, it's time for the community development committee to start. And Tim said that
Chuck will be a little late or may not be here.
And Eddie, get right in the middle and go.
I have a legislative request to rezone a piece of property at the intersection of Blue Jay Road and Watson Road. If you're heading out towards Forest Hills and you get to that intersection, there's a house that sits up off the road to the left behind the pond. Currently, that property is zoned B1, which is neighborhood business or limited business. And the lady that lives there wants to rezone it to agricultural, which actually matches the surrounding property.
Where's this house at?
The intersection of Watson and Blue Jay.
Okay.
The White House on the left-hand side that sits up behind the pond.
Oh, yeah. They had the water line leak, didn't they?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, Howard Mars used to live there.
So it's like a gravel driveway that goes.
Septic tank guy?
Yeah.
Septic tanks years ago.
Yeah,
Would that
that's
be
why it
the
was a
only
business. That's why
property-
it used to be a business.
Would that be the only property zoned that way?
Currently, there's 3 different parcels there. The one parcel that has sits right off of Watson as you turn up Watson. There's a long pole building there. That's zone B1. And then the parcel that her house sits on is zone B1. And then there's actually a third parcel out in front of her house, a big open field. That's zone B1 as well. She wants to zone or rezone her parcel and that vacant one up front that she owns as A2 agricultural. So the one on Watson will actually stay B1. Which is
You haven't bring a pine map or anything? We can kind of get a picture of this.
photos for it. Not sure where you want me to stick it.
Just slide it around.
That was a pretty open-ended question.
As soon as he said it, he knew he was
You're gonna have to bend in and try and pass it around real quick.
So what does that really change for the city? I mean, is there anything different for us?
It's just, no, not really. It's
So 2 parcels would
Property
be
taxes
one,
or anything change any? Probably not.
and the third would be a different type of zoning
what's that?
on this property. 2 parcels would be zoned one way and third one would be a different one?
Yeah, she owns this parcel, that parcel. She's going to rezone those to match these as A2. So that one needs to stay the same.
How often do we convert city property back to agricultural? That's rare.
Yeah, this is out towards the outlying areas of the city, so it doesn't really hurt us any.
What are these? These are all B1 here.
Yeah, all that light.
That's a B3.
Why doesn't she wanna convert the one? Why does she keep one?
Do they actually operate a business out of that pole barn?
Oh, but somebody else has the third.
Yeah,
then,
somebody
okay.
else has the third.
Is this getting referred to planning commission at some point, or what's the?
Yeah, you guys will.
So it's this one and this one up here. What is that?
Put an agriculture in the middle of.
Is there a house?
After a first reading, Jeff, it would go to planning.
Right.
What's that?
That would actually end up being
Is there a dwelling on this
better
property?
suited for the rest of the property. as far
Why
as
wouldn't it
agriculture.
R?
Majority of the surrounding property.
Why wouldn't it go to R?
But that,
It's not
she
so,
just requested the agricultural.
for tax reasons, right?
I'm not sure what her reasoning behind it was. She wanted to be able to put a accessory building out front, a pole barn.
What'd you say? She's already got plenty of ducks and geese or something out there, whatever I like over there, something waddling around the yard.
Well, that would be a pond, that's kind of a natural.
Yeah.
A natural magnet for that.
And everyone within so many feet get notified and all that
Why
kind of
wouldn't
stuff.
it keep it R?
Not yet, no.
No, but I mean, they will. I mean, if we bring it out of here and take it to council.
So Eddie, let's explore this question just a little bit more. Why agricultural? Why not residential?
I think she has plans of putting a storage building slash carport up on that front parcel.
Okay.
And in order to do that, you're in an R1 district, you can't have a residence or an accessory structure that isn't incidental to a primary residence.
Okay.
But it's a little more lenient in an agricultural area.
Okay.
Why wouldn't we just do a variance? In our district?
That was an option.
I mean, it's a residential dwelling, they're gonna live there. I don't see tillable ground, I don't see barns for livestock, et cetera. I'm just,
Are there any tax advantages to being zoned agricultural compared to residential for the property owner?
I think if they have it for a crop or something, there might be some.
but
property tax.
You mean if they're actually farming it?
if she wants to put a building up, then she can talk about it. She's gonna have an active agricultural activity. It's reducing from a property tax perspective for the school district and.
Well, this was my that's what I just asked Eddie, and so is there a financial difference between it being zoned residential and being zoned agricultural?
Farming the property for some purpose.
If you're farming it. So just because okay, like for instance, the neighbor that's right there, that has a house, on up Blue Jay, has a house, property zoned agricultural. Their property tax rate, is it different than what this person's is?
I mean, obviously, in the business district, the value of the property is a little higher.
But that's the value of it, not the rate. What I'm talking about is
That I
the
don't
rate.
know. I don't know.
Because if there is no rate difference, then I guess in my mind, whatever.
Well, we don't know the answer.
Yeah.
If she gets a CAUV exemption, request that, and then gets that a reduction of millage accordingly, because it's agricultural zones. That's when the tax bill is obviously off.
I guess I'd like to know why change it.
When it comes
Oh,
Well,
once
like
it
you
gets to
said,
planning
maybe it could
commission.
be a variance if she wants that building
Well, yeah,
and be a workaround.
but let's, show me that you're gonna put a building, show me that you're not,
Well, when she came in and
before you come in
she
and
told me she
zone.
wanted to put a building up, I gave her the option of doing the variance or doing the rezoning. That was the route she wanted.
Okay, wait, Mark.
Now with the
I mean, at this
zoning
point,
change,
it's up zone for business, she can live there as a residence, the millage isn't changing. If she comes in here with concrete agricultural use type plans associated with the building construction, then we can talk about something like that.
Eddie, if she kept it B1, she could put a building there, right? If it was B1, she could put the building there. She wouldn't have to do a zoning change to put a building there now. If it's business, she could put a building there.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it's actually up zone. She got more flexibility with that zoning as it is than down zoning,
Unless she wants to keep livestock in the property.
which is pure speculation.
Still though, it's in the city limits, and so you can't.
I thought you could, even if it was in city limits,
What's that?
I thought you could count livestock as long as it's, zoned agriculture, even if it's in the city limits.
You can't.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In both residential or B1, if you want to put like a garage or something like that up, that has to be incidental to a main building on the site. You can just pop up as a garage that just.
That's if it's zoned residential. If it's zoned, if we didn't change the zoning at all, would she be able to put a structure on that front lot?
Not for this purpose.
For what?
It's
Not
kind
for
of
the
a gray
purposes
area
of-
because it's a grandfather use. It's the house that's sitting there wouldn't be allowed to be constructed as it's zoned right now. That was zoned after the house was built. Putting an accessory structure up on the front parcel is not allowed in the B3 or the B1 district unless it serves the principal use of the property. That's a separate parcel from the house.
Okay.
The parcel of the house. So if she's allowed to do that, that would be the only building on that parcel. So
It's a lot combination, she owns both lots.
I gave her that option,
Do a lot combination,
but
they're both zone B1, she owns them both. I see lots of other options besides just blindly shooting Dave.
well, doesn't the county tax the property on the piece of it
I don't know.
and not the
I don't
city
know.
of it?
I think the property tax rate is a question that we ought to explore. I think that's something, Eddie, that we need to get some more information on. Now procedurally, what is it you're asking? What is it you're asking for this evening?
For you guys to accept the legislation, and then once it goes through council.
So you have a legislative request?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no reason why we can't have this ordinance drawn up, right?
And you guys can have a public hearing on it if you want, and it goes back to the planning commission, so there's still time, it doesn't have to be decided on.
So you have first reading on the legislation, it's referred to planning commission, then we deal with it. And we'll get the answers as far as the tax, the millage, et cetera. Then we can make,
And then you make a recommendation back to council.
right,
Uh-huh.
And then we can decide to have a public
tear
hearing.
it apart at that point as far as,
So there's still another 2 or 3 months.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Guess I'm looking out for the school district and
Yeah, I mean,
property tax. is,
yeah, I wouldn't want to see that change.
End around on existing property tax. And it really does never develop into an agricultural property.
Makes me wonder why all that other property around there is zoned agricultural and there isn't a farm to be had.
Exactly. Maybe we should explore that too.
Probably was zoned that way before it till it's incorporated.
Yeah.
Of course, if that was Howard Myers, I mean, golly, he was running a business there when this was a village, or maybe even before it was a village, right? How long was Howard Myers in the honey dipping business?
I can't remember, he told me one time, but it's been years and years, that's
Oh,
what I don't
my
think he's ever done, but he
Right.
got, after he got out of the Navy.
Right.
I can ask his wife, she's still there.
Well, just a matter of,
Yeah.
we kind of took the zoning the way it was, when it went from township to village to city. Because he would have been grandfathered because he'd lived there so many years.
Be interesting, I'll find out and I'll call you.
Okay.
You want this?
Okay,
I'll find out about the tax bill.
number 2.
The second item, John Geller and I, and actually Nick and John Appleman have been considering making changes to our development regulations as they pertain to condominium developments. And I know the way the development regs are written is council has to approve changes to it. But I also know that the planning commission is the one that does studies and does recommendations for you guys. So I guess I basically just wanted to present this to you. I don't know if I have to formally acknowledge that we're doing this with you guys, or if we can just do it, present it to the planning
Who's we?
commission. Well, me and John Geller,
Okay.
Nick, and
Okay.
if we can just write up the way we think it should be and then present it to the planning commission and have them make a recommendation back to you guys.
Yeah, we should be able to do that.
So we just handle it that way.
Yeah.
Present it to the
I think
planning
you have to do
commission.
this because when we changed recently, you know, a few years ago, when we got a development inspector, you know, in the county, and New York was inspecting, I think there's something in there you need to look at too. Well, you know, when we got that, when we started having our inspections on, especially on, commercial and industrial buildings, you know. But we had to do that before, didn't we? I think, that was changed just for,
That was for the
residential.
building codes. That was for the building codes.
Yeah.
As far as the actual structures. This is going to be basically dealing with the utilities that are associated with the site in general.
yeah, may not affect that.
And is this the one book that's kind of like 11 book, 17 sheets of paper? Well, is that?
It's actually
It's just
8.5 by 11.
8.5 11. Okay.
It was passed back in 2009. The last time it was updated.
But council passed it. Is that okay?
Is this a required thing that we have to update it, or you guys decided?
They just want to update it from what it
We
is.
just want to update it because we've experienced some issues in some recent developments that we want to kind of set ourselves up to not repeat.
What you have there has the changes or additions?
This is what we worked on so far, yeah.
What is the red ink, what you changed?
The red ink is the stuff that's been added. Black ink that isn't crossed out is existing, and then the stuff that's crossed out in black is stuff we need to take out.
Did you make copies of it?
No, I was just basically presenting it to you guys tonight to see how you wanted me to move forward with it. You want me to just go to the planning commission with it, or?
I think take through
Planning commission, then let planning commission bring it to council.
Well, dissect that one just like this other one. Come back with a recommendation based on all your changes.
The third item was just that legislation that Jay presented to you guys at his meeting, I think last week. I don't know if you guys had questions or anything, but I spoke to one of the engineers at ODOT today, and he told me that the section from Kaiser Drive up to Andover will be a mill and fill operation. So he said, I think he said they're gonna mill out 2 layers of asphalt and then put back 2 layers of asphalt. And he said the reason they're doing that up to that section is because there's a lot of stop and go truck traffic. So the condition rating of the asphalt is poor. And then he said that the section from Kaiser Drive down to the South Corporation limit, I think it actually might extend down into Hebron because it's part of a bigger project. He said that's going to be micro resurfacing, and he said that's basically just a thin overlayment that they do, and that's more of a preventative maintenance type of thing.
So they're not gonna mill that part at all?
He said that south of there is more open traffic, free flow, so it isn't as bad.
Okay.
But he said that ODOT's starting to push that preventative maintenance, so that's one of the things they're doing. That's why
It's
they're
nice that the state has enough money to think about stuff like that.
What's the timing to get on this? Is both same
Well,
time,
local
one
government
before
money.
the other?
Exactly.
Shooting the two is that they've got
That's-
now to spend.
That's right.
Cause remember, that's what we were worried about, was one was going done before the other, same time, or vice
Yeah.
versa.
Andover to Kaiser, he said, will be done in construction year 18, so the summer of 18.
Summer of 18,
He said Kaiser South will be done summer of 17.
17.
That'll be done.
So that part will get done first, just that micro overlay there, and then full.
So what do they want from us?
Just the preliminary legislation. It's the same thing that we passed for the northern portion. And then he said we won't hear from them until they get bids in to let us know what we actually have to finance for our portion.
So because we're like the lead jurisdiction in this process, we've got to start.
No, it's just because the road goes through our jurisdiction.
If they're doing parts of Hebron, Hebron have to do the same.
Yeah.
And that'll be on probably next Monday. There's no rush on it, I mean, okay.
Well, I have to bat it back to like December 16th, but I think there's
Yeah.
plenty of time.
November, first meeting in December.
You don't give a choice.
No.
It's whatever they say,
Unless you
here's
don't
where it came in, here's what you're gonna pay.
Yep, that's the way that works.
Well, we have a choice
Just
not
an
to do it at
80-20.
all, but it would cost
have
us a
that.
lot more to do it, yeah, we, you know,
I
it would
think
cost us a lot more.
it should be.
You know.
Yeah, we just let the road crumble. I hate this time.
What is it? Border on going north, all the way up to Matthews?
No, there's one section that's going to be from Kaiser Drive to Andover. That's gonna be the mill and fill, the 2 different layers. And then the other project will be Kaiser Drive South.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do that before they do this.
This is what we said it for that.
Saw the right-hand lane closed down here. They were working on the car lot on the new Coglin there on the corner of Kaiser. They had the right-hand lane closed.
That shouldn't be very much longer before that. They put the inlet, new curb inlet into the,
Okay.
I mean, they're starting on it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. These guys.
Anything else? I know that, of course, you can see the Coglin, new Coglin dealership going up. But I know they're also planning on some work being done at Hinderer Honda as well. And we'll probably, I don't see any reason why we won't, have an agreement that will allow Hinderer to park cars back in the pool parking lot. And until like the end of April or something like that, so that their cars are out of their way, so that they can get the work done quicker over there. They'll pay us a little bit and they'll park their cars over there. I talked to John the other day about it. Doesn't sound like it'd be too bad. They'll probably even have a pickup or something come over and plow in between the rows so that they can get cars in and out. So it won't be in our way.
You gotta be a corporate citizen.
Yeah. Is that Charlie?
Yeah,
Gee, Merry Christmas.
it's multi-leaves.
Anything else, Betty?
No, that was that's the question.
So I'm at the Johnstown Heath game
Hey, Jim?
2 or 3 weeks ago. And the refs were just awful. I mean, they just I don't know what football game they were watching, but they were not calling anything. And so I'm sitting there, and every once in a while, I can get loud. And they just missed it was a holding, and right in front of the guy, right in front of the linesman. Doesn't throw the flag. I yell out, "Gee, Merry Christmas, open your eyes!" And my daughter's about maybe 20 yards away from me down there on the track cheering. And she just goes. And all the other cheerleaders turn and look at me. They knew it was me. And they're saying stuff to Audra or whatever. I didn't realize, I knew that I said, the open your eyes part loud. I didn't realize I said the Jiminy Christmas part loud. Apparently that's, Audra was like, stop doing that.
She never did your weight gimmicks on the sideline, did she? Well, that's all, yeah.
That accident up on the bridge up here, the truck that went over, is that gonna affect, I know we're involved somehow with that project. Is that gonna affect us any?
Well, it was kind of ironic. I think it was like the previous week. There was a meeting that I guess I was kind of the catalyst for, that had Eddie and I, Bill Lozier, who's the county engineer, Jerry Newton from the county planning office, Mayor Hall, Brian was there, I think, for that. Somebody else, I think, from Newark. I'm not sure if it was
Nick, I
Nick.
think.
Was it Nick? Okay. And Rick Platt from the Port Authority was there. The idea of having what's called a Super 2 road, kind of like the way Irving Lake is here, when you head back toward the Port Authority. That idea is not a new concept, and the connector that was put in down here that connects to 79 was put in with that thought in mind. The concept that includes the new interchange that they're working on 16 is that be tied directly into Thornwood Drive across a new bridge. Excuse me. So the idea of the meeting was to try to determine what is the best way for us to keep that corridor project vision moving. My fear is that when the interchange is done, ODOT's going to say, well, we're getting cars off of our state road safely now, so we're done. But, you still then are dealing with a situation where traffic gets dumped out into the middle of nowhere, basically. You have, a viaduct that's built on wooden pilings that is still being used as a bridge for truck traffic and whatnot. So yeah, and like I said, it's just ironic that it happened to be that next week where that truck went over the guardrail and into the. But it illustrates the need. It illustrates the need for a new bridge upstream and a roadway that connects directly into Thornwood Drive, and then eventually an expanded Thornwood Drive that doesn't have the hump of the railroad track and doesn't have the hill quite as bad as you're heading north past, I don't know if that's still considered West Main or if that's now James or whatever that is. You go up that hill, you have to carve out some of that hill, flatten it some.
I guess what I was asking was, is that accident, is that gonna accelerate that
Oh,
project anymore?
I don't know. I mean, I wish it would, but
We're committed to part of the cost of that project, right?
oh, we would. Yeah, we would. What was it? Phase 1 engineering was done how long ago, Eddie? 15 years ago?
That close to 2000. Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Early 2000.
Yeah. So
I just wondered if it had
we already have a little bit of skin in the game.
Ronnie, I would say that until Nork gets the bridge, until 16's done and the connector there is connected over, until that's done, and until the bridge is connected over to hook into Thornwood, there's really no reason to make the part of Thornwood that's in Heath any wider, because the traffic isn't going to flow any faster, and everything.
Yeah.
So I think, and then until they take, like you say, either the big hill out of Thornwood or move it over, realign, or do something there, until that's all done, there's really no reason for us to spend a lot of money in Heath money out this way, because it really won't speed up anything. You know what I mean? You're going to be, only.
And even Thornwood itself might be a project that has to be done in phases, just because it's a big price tag. But it's the way I describe it, mine is it's like a series of dominoes that needs to fall. I just want to make sure that the dominoes continue to fall,
I guess
and that nobody forgets.
a
about
continuation on that question would be, has there been any kind of a study done? I mean, we want people to come to Heath instead of bypass. I mean, look what happened to Hebron. I'm just myself. I'm not in a big hurry to see that done.
I think that I would see. I draw a different comparison, and maybe it's just what I'm familiar with. Even when I was a kid, I remember that there was talk of a US 33 bypass around Lancaster. And there was a big concern about what that would do to the businesses there on Memorial Drive. And then when the mall came in, of course the mall as well. But I think what they have found is it hasn't negatively impacted the businesses on Memorial Drive at all, because the people who are wanting to go to those businesses can now do so easier and quicker and probably safer, because a lot of the traffic that was simply just wanting to get through town on the way to Logan or Athens or whatever, they're now taking the bypass. If Thornwood Drive were to be expanded like that, I think you would see a lot less semi-truck traffic on Hebron Road here through town. You might see also some passenger cars that that bypass, but I would question, even those passenger cars, if they bypass, were they gonna do anything in Heath, anyway?
Now, in Hebron, addressing that, Englefield was a little concerned, to say the least, on the bypass at the Hebron station. Actually, the gallons went up because it was easier, going back to this, easier to get in and out. And the local people continued, we didn't have a lot of drive-through traffic that go there because you'd be past it before you saw it anyway. So the locals were using it more. That Heyman's is, the ice cream store there. It's safer to get in and out of there now. So it did not impact it negatively there.
Down in Wartburg, Tennessee, that's where I went to school. It was the same setup. Highway 27 went right through the center. And then when the state and the feds started feeding money in, well, they drew the lines, for the new highways. And their first one was go back about 400 yards. It's about a half a mile on up toward the mountain and cut into the mountain and move it back there. Well, people threw a fit. But what transpired, and the state tried to tell them, is it'll grow Wartburg. Now then, you can't even hardly get a big piece of business property to grow, to build on it, Wartburg, because it's grew that much. And it just easier for people that was going on 27 from Oneida to Harriman, Tennessee. They go through there, they're not going to stop in Wartburg anyway. But it also helps the guy that lives out in the county, like my dad and them, where they can get to Wartburg quicker now. So it worked out good. So I think that's what Mark's saying is, and Tim's saying is good.
They'll still be ways off though. But that truck that did dump over last week, my understanding was that was an animatic. It was one of their trucks. And they were going from their facility over to their facility in New Albany. That beauty park development in New Albany, if I were them, I would want to see the Thornwood corridor develop, because to get their supplies from the east and to get their finished products shipped to the east, they're not going to want to deal with 270 traffic and then going on I-70. They can't really use 310. 37, the hills are up and down, around and round. 79 has way too many traffic lights, too much congestion. A Thornwood corridor would be a really good option for all of those businesses that are developing in that New Albany Beauty Park, as far as getting supplies from the east and getting finished products shipped to the east. Maybe it'd be nice if we can find a way to get them on board with the idea that it seems to be able to unlock boxes of money. Whenever they want something.
The way that's zoned now, would it be possible for restaurants, gas stations, that kind of thing to be on that strip too? Or just that?
It's not even commercial use, it's all industrial.
Is it only zoned industrial out that way?
There's some spots I think that are agricultural.
Predominantly in, a little bit of ag.
See, when Bob Day was in Congress, he's the one that got a lot of that stuff going for us. He worked hard at it, but those guys that's in there now, I don't know.
That was done, the 79 expansion and the connector, those were done with earmarks. Money specifically given to Congress, by Congress for that project. Congress doesn't do earmarks anymore. So those, manna from heaven events don't happen anymore.
Well, you got T-Bird sitting over there drawing free air, and that's about all he does.
He almost got appointed as chair of the Ways and Means Committee, which would have been a pretty powerful appointment had he gotten that.
Yeah.
I think they gave it some guy in Texas or whatever is what I saw. But T. Berry was like on the very, very short list to be considered to chair that committee. That would have been interesting.
I thought Ohio's gonna lose some money because Banner's not around anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Sure, we drove a lot of money into the state in this position.
Mark, there's the veterans ceremony here on Wednesday.
6:30? 6:30, I think. Check the website, it's on there. I think it's 6:30.
In the morning or evening?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
6:30 in the morning, I don't know if I'd be here.
yeah, it's all.
Yeah. You guys don't mind me making my comments in my pajamas.
We done?
That's it. Good man.
Eddie,
Aaron's
thank you.
name was okay on here?
Good for you.
I'm gonna check you out.
I got a call from Eagle Field. It's like, hey, is that your truck? I'm like,